lads. So this Shannon Sharp scenario with this OnlyFans girl is it's wild, man. It's wild. It's crazy. And it's a tale as old as time, but it's a warning. It's a warning for you lads. It is a warning like this. You got to try and learn from scenarios like this. Now, this Shannon guy, I barely even really know who this guy is. I've just seen this story sort of kick off, and I've skimmed over exactly what's happening. I don't know all the details, but so he's like 50, right? Early 50s. And he started getting freaky with some 19-year-old OnlyFans girl. And I think she's suing him for 50 million for sexual assault. I believe that to be the case. And I've seen a few messages they're sending back and forth. Wild. Apparently, he asked her to sign an NDA before she came round. She refused, and he still brought her around. All right. This is a 50-year-old man who can't control his lust. All right. Now, you could have the debate and the argument and everything else. Like, you could have the debate and the argument like, is it wrong for a 50-year-old to be with a 19-year-old? I mean, she's legal age. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, it's disgusting to be attracted to someone at that age. Look, she's an adult, right? She's hot. But is it right? Is it right, 50 to 19? I think it's a bit gross, to be honest. But this is not the point I want to make. The point is, and the lessons for you guys to learn, take away from a story like this, is the utmost importance to get a control over your lust. Because it can destroy you, man. This guy might lose 50 million. Is he gonna, I don't know, is he gonna go to prison? I don't know here the full details, but it is something, it's incredibly difficult to do. It is unbelievably difficult to do. I know it myself. I've been there, man. My previous two girlfriends, I cheated on both of them multiple times. After I broke up with my last girlfriend, I went on 2-year crazy spree, degenerate, sleeping around, risky hookups and everything else. But now, I've been with my now wife. I've been with her for 13 and a half years. I had to overcome that stuff. I had to overcome, porn and all of this stuff. And I've had opportunities to step outside of that marriage and stuff. They've been there, and I've never been tempted. I've overcome my lust in that regard. It's important. And Jordan Peterson made a great point. He said, there's no such thing as casual sex. And it's so true. You can get away with casual sex maybe your whole life. Maybe you'll be lucky. You sleep with hundreds of women, nothing ever happens. Doesn't mean it's actually casual. There is always risks attached. And more so when you become this type of high value man, as everyone in self-improvement talks about. Look at this guy, he's famous, multi-millionaire, he's got the status and everything else. And he's got a lot to lose. And it seems like he's potentially going to lose a lot. But what you got to do, and a lot of guys online talk about beating lust and everything else, self-improvements, how to beat lust, how to stop porn addiction, sex addiction, all of this. They're often missing such a key principle, such a key concept. They talk about tactics. They talk about, changing your environment. Maybe you change your mindset a little bit and you have this imply this tactic, or you avoidance, and you get rid of all the apps off your phone and you stop going to the club and avoid temptations, all of that stuff. But you got to get an important foundation in. This is what really helped me. Okay. Now in Western civilization, I spoke about this. We've ripped out the core. We've ripped out the foundation of Western culture. We don't have unifying values anymore. We've thrown it out. We threw it out with religion, with Christianity. We threw it out. We went for secularist society. Now, the core concept I'm not saying is we have to believe in God. That's not what I'm saying here. But what I mean is, when you throw out those core concepts, it's really hard for modern Western men to beat lust, because it's thrown at us. It's used. Sex now is a weapon for elites to manipulate and control us and lead us down dark paths. It really is. That's why porn is free. And OnlyFans girls are all over the news and promoted here and this and that, and you see it everywhere in advertising and whatnot. And degenerate lifestyle is pushed and everything else. And then self-improvement doesn't have this core concept. In fact, it teaches you, and this is why I've said the red pill is often a bit of a side list. It teaches you, if you improve and you become a higher value man, you'll get access to way more women, and you can have all these women have this access. So you're not really beating lust, even the guys that talk about nofap and everything else. It's because you have to understand, sex isn't just for making babies and pleasure. There's a third aspect to sex that you have to admit. If you're really going to beat lust, you have to admit this. And you have to realize it. And that is, there is a spiritual aspect of sex. When you can realize that and admit that there is a spiritual aspect to sex, you can start to lay better foundations for yourself. When you sleep with someone, anyone, whoever it is, you do give a part of yourself, part of your soul away. I wholly know that. I truly believe that and know it and felt it in my past. Even back in the day, man, when I was 21, 22 and I was going out Saturday nights and sleeping with some random bit of skirt, and in my mind, and I was like, this is just sex. It's all it is. It's just sex. It's meaningless. It's nothing. The back of my mind, I wake up the next day and just knew it just weren't right. Knew I was just putting a dagger there a little bit in my soul, a little bit, losing a bit of part of myself. And once you admit that, and once you know that there's a spiritual aspect to sex, no matter how casual you want to keep it, no matter how much you want to say, and you hear all the alpha guys and say, yeah, we could just fuck and not give a fuck, and all of this, and sex is this sex to guys sometimes, and man, I was there, I had it, but then you can, if you can admit it, that there is a spiritual aspect, then you can start to really identify and aim for a higher self. Because if we're not all going to orientate ourselves around some really spiritual religious doctrine, you got to think, right, what's my highest self? What would my highest self do in this scenario? What would my best version of myself do? Not best version, self-improvement version, where you can have all the access to all the pussy. No, your true highest self. Your highest self is your best spiritual self, because that is one aspect of sex. And I'm not saying here, guys, you should never go out and sleep with someone, right? And never have sex. You'd only be in a relationship. You only have some physical, mental, spiritual connection with someone. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, you can meet, you can hook up, right? But and you have to admit there's going to be some risks, even if you're two consenting adults and you're being proper and mature about it, and protection and everything else. There's always going to be something there that there's a risk. But try and be sensible about it. I understand, like you said, that there is a side to me. Sometimes there's going to be occasions that are going to pop up. Temptation's going to pop up, and if you don't admit there's that spiritual aspect, if you are not connected and do not see a clear picture and conception of your higher self, man, it's hard to beat the lust. It's hard to beat the lust in this world. It's hard to beat that temptation. It really is. And then you end up doing something fucking stupid that you're going to seriously regret. And you're going to pay some serious consequences. So, yeah. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one, lads. As always, yeah. And like I said, other ways, like beating beaten lust in that way, and how you can identify your higher self and everything. I have these conversations regular in the community. If you're just interested in that, in my community online, learning about this stuff and helping you with this stuff, and help many other guys with this stuff and many, many more, go check that out. I put the link in the top comment, and yeah, look forward to hearing what you think on this one.